Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to give you 3 tips to give your character more personality during a show, okay? And we're going to start off really quickly here. First, you want to do raw emotion, okay? So let's say your character's sad. Something sad happened to them. Maybe one of their friends died, or maybe their lover died, or maybe their mom or dad died, whatever. Or maybe something traumatic happened in their life. Maybe they're injured. Whatever. What if your character is sad? Well, then you have to show raw emotion. Maybe how I like to show raw emotion now during a show is kind of look into my own life. What is this is kind of weird, but how I do it is I look at what is something sad that's happening in my life right now. I mean, yeah, it kind of sucks that you do that. It's probably really unhealthy for me to do that. I don't like you guys doing that. I don't recommend you guys doing that. But what I do is that I look at something that's happened in my life, and then I connect that to my character, and I use that during a scene, okay? That's kind of what I do. Now, there's totally different ways to do it, and I actually don't recommend that, because it's probably very unhealthy for your mental health to do that. But that's how I do it, okay? And you have to figure out a way. How can you show raw emotion? How can you make it not you as a character, but you as an actor show emotion? You as a person show emotion during a production. And it could be anything. If something is funny on stage, and even if and this isn't even breaking character, but if your character is funny, then laugh. If something actually funny happens on stage, even if it's not meaningful, or even if it's something that's not supposed to happen, if you could do that and you could laugh on stage, that's part of your character, and it doesn't take away something from a plot, then do that. Let's say, I mean, if it's a sad scene, like somebody just died and you're not supposed to be laughing, and then something wrong happens, then don't laugh, obviously. But if it's the right situation and something funny happens, start laughing, because it shows more emotion, it shows more personality, and yada, yada, yada. And that's one thing you can do to showcase your character, enhance your character, and enhance your character development. Next, you want to show more attention to the scene, okay? You don't want to go and when it's not your line and you're thinking of your next line, you're just thinking about that, and you don't show any attention to the scene, then not only are you going to lose character, and you're going to break character in that moment, but the audience will notice, okay? That is one of the things that they do is that if you're not if you're not in the scene, literally, if you're not in the scene figuratively, then the audience is going to notice, and the audience is going to know that, and you are breaking character. I'm sorry to say, but you are breaking character if you're not in the scene when it's not your line. Show attention, show reaction to something. If you're in a scene and you don't have a line for a little bit, again, maybe a character does a funny line, then actually laugh, okay? Be part of the scene. Take it like it's actually real life, and it's an actual conversation you're having with some people, a group of people, right? You want to pay attention to that conversation, and you want to give reactions. Maybe 4th of July is coming around, you're going to be with family, you're going to have friends over, whatever. If you're having a conversation with them, notice your reactions to whatever they're saying, and try to imply that to your acting on stage, because that's what I did last year, actually, for Into the Woods. It was 4th of July, we're having a little party, well, not really party, but a hang out with my cousins, and I was having a conversation with them. I noticed what I was reacting to, and I did that on stage when I was talking to people, and I didn't necessarily have a line right then and there. And it gives you more attention. It makes it look like it's an actual story. It's actually someplace in your real life. And making attention will increase your character and make the audience understand your character more. Now, the next is focus on the scene, okay? Now, not only attention, but you have to focus, okay? Focus on where the scene is going. What's your next step as well? It's kind of multitasking, but that's what you have to do as an actor. You have to focus. Where is the scene going to? What is going to happen? Maybe there's a big twist, which usually there is at the end of plays and musicals, right? There's going to be a big twist. If it's near that, know what you're doing and know it quickly, okay? You don't want to be stumbling around finding your place when the big twist happens, because then again the audience can notice that, okay? That's a very big thing for me, okay? The audience is going to notice that if you aren't paying attention. First off, that actually goes into to paying attention to the scene, is focusing on the scene. You want to know where it is, what your character's going to be doing, when their next line is, when the next twist happens, whatever. You want to know, you want to be ready for that. You want to make it as realistic as possible, even if it's on stage, even if it's in a floating sky with a big giant coming down a beanstalk. You want it so that you're kind of focusing in, making it realistic. That is the best thing about acting, is making it look realistic, like you're actually showing something. Those are three things. This is probably one of the most important videos I'll ever show you guys, is that if you want to give an audience a good production, a good show, then you want to do this stuff. You want to show raw emotion, you want to pay attention, and you want to focus on a scene. You have to, or else your character is going to lose itself. You're going to lose character arc. And that's the problem. It's these subtle things that happen when you're not even speaking. That is the most important thing. You can make a funny face and people can laugh, and laugh loud. That is what sets you apart from other actors and makes you a better actor, is what you do when you're not speaking. And now, I'm going to do this. I love doing that stuff because it's so cool, actually showcasing a character, and it tells a story within a character. And this is very interesting. Now I'm going to start rambling. But you have a character. The character is a story in itself, okay? Forget the story. What story is your character going through? I mean, especially if you're supporting, this is very interesting. I'm almost always a supporting lead when I get leads in productions. And I actually like it kind of more than the lead, because the lead is part of the actual story for the most part. That's their story. Okay, I was the lead in my last show, and I loved it. It was awesome. But it also took away from a story that I was creating inside my character. And you can do this with ensemble as well. You can do it with any character, right? Okay, what is their story? What is their background? You can create that. You can create that as an actor and showcase it on stage. Isn't that remarkable? Isn't that crazy that you can do that? And that's one of the best things about being like a supporting lead or an actual lead at some points, or even ensemble. If you can make your character, how did it develop over the course of the show? When you first get your script, that's exactly what you should be doing. Not writing down how many lines you have or writing down stuff. Look in how does your character develop. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I was Rapunzel's prince during Into the Woods, and I was in love with my Rapunzels, right? And two Rapunzels. Very weird, whatever. It's awesome. They were great actors, and I loved working with them, right? And I looked at the scenes I was in, especially with my Rapunzels, okay? And I think I talked to them about this, both of them. I was talking, and I was asking them what their character was doing. What was their character arc? Because Rapunzel dies in Into the Woods, right? And I wanted to know, what was their character feeling? Their character was feeling heartbroken because my character just left them out of the blue. I mean, I actually looked into the script. I'm like, what's going on? Because first off, the last scene before the last scene I'm in, before the end of the show, is Agony Reprise, right? And I'm singing about how I want somebody else besides for Rapunzel, right? And there's obviously a scene that happens between the real story, right? That probably happens between Rapunzel and Rapunzel's prince. Maybe that's what led in to the death of Rapunzel. What if Rapunzel wanted to die? What if she was heartbroken so much that by Rapunzel's prince that she just wanted to die? That's what I was thinking when talking to them about their character development. And it's very interesting what they said. Great actors, and and I would love to work with them again. And I'd love to work with that cast again, obviously. Probably one of my favorite casts. But again, so what about this? I'm Rapunzel's prince. What is his development? He is in love with Rapunzel. And I mean, for the whole first act, he is in love with her. He literally would fight a witch for her. And it's very interesting how that kind of crumbles down. Again, the second act's very weird because he goes from being totally in love with Rapunzel to not giving a crap about her within one scene. And it is very interesting, that kind of thing. But that's what happens, right? He was in total love with her, and I remember during Agony that he knew that she loved him back, and they did. They were in love with each other for the first act, and that's why Rapunzel was so crabby, I guess you can say, in the scene where she dies. And so I think that his character went through something within the second act. Not the scenes that he was in, obviously, but the scenes that weren't shown in the actual show, because there's a lot of gray area, and that's where I put my character. What if he had maybe a vision that Rapunzel was going to die, and he knew he couldn't save her, and so he just ran away? Or what if he's just a prince that clearly doesn't give a crap about anybody, wasn't really in love with her? I don't believe that, though. I believe that he was in love throughout the entire show with Rapunzel. And then what happens after she dies? I mean, even though he left her clearly, what happens after she dies? Does he go to see her? Does he go and try to even save her? We don't know that because it's not in the show. And that was awesome for me because I got to kind of build a little story in my head. And what I came up with was kind of super crazy. If you guys are watching this, if one of my Rapunzels you want to see, then, you know. But kind of crazy how his character arc, and actually in my head was, because I was planning it throughout the rest of the story, because he wasn't in the story after Agony Reprise and Rapunzel's death. So, very interesting, and both characters are interesting. Probably the two most interesting characters in Into the Woods. But that's just kind of an example. Make a story up in your head. That's how you can enhance your show, enhance your character. Thank you guys for watching this video. I want you to go down to the Right Way podcast and hit subscribe there as well. It's going to be linked in the description below. Go watch the latest episode. I will be putting out another episode within an hour. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Ooh.